Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are a very interesting topic, and this topic came to us because the subscribers make a comment on one of our videos. And the comment was, is Dominican Republic becoming the new America? And that was something that we usually discuss the comment when people make comments. And our first reaction was no. But then we said, and we thought about it and said, let's think about this. And that's why we wanted to make this video, just because to discuss it and then to ask guys, what do you think? So thinking about this subject, it is 5 points that came to our mind of things that is happening, that started happening here in Dominican Republic that make us believe that probably, who knows, what can happen in the future. So what do you think about that?
I don't want it to become the new America.
Me neither. Not really.
But, you know, the way it's going, I could see why that person, you know, made the comment, and you could almost kind of see it happening. And I guess, and even when I think of America, I'm thinking of the America today. I don't want it to become the America today.
Yeah, all the negative stuff, they become with being a developed place,
a developed nation.
More, yeah. That everything, because everything, the good, I mean, the bad come with the good.
Right. So not like, you know, and I want to make sure I get my words right, because I don't want it to be misconstrued. But when I say I don't want it to like the America today, and then people maybe think I'm thinking about the America of yesteryear, which, you know, we understand back in the day it wasn't that good either. But I'm not talking more about, not all about just social, but just the economic engine, just the ideology of how, you know, business and, you know, capitalism and entrepreneurship, that type of America. That's what I'm talking about. Not all the negative aspects of America. We definitely don't want that to be going nowhere in no country, the negative aspects of America, but just the ideology of business in America. I think, you know, it could possibly be a good thing. I'm not gonna say it'll be a good thing here, because I'm sure, you know, we see messages from Dominicans who don't want any change in Dominican Republic, which, I mean, I don't know how you can not, you know, think that that's gonna happen.
I mean, that's a natural thing. That's not something that you're gonna stop. Things have to change. While the years are passing, things gonna have to change.
I mean, if you want to grow. Now, if you don't want to grow, then you don't change. It's just like, you know, in a person, in an individual person. If you don't want to read any books, you don't want to go to college, you don't want to try to learn any skill sets, you just want to remain the same. Yeah, you can remain dumb. You know what I'm saying? But nothing about your life or anything you're doing is going to change. You know, your financial situation is not going to change. Your mental situation is not going to change. Your physical, none of that's going to change. So, but it's impossible for you to grow and not change. You know what I'm saying? So I hear these, you know, these Dominicans, I would think they like some of the progress because of the country, because it has created some middle class citizens of Dominican Republic. It has created a middle class, or widened, or made the middle class a little bit bigger, and that's good for the country. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why they wouldn't, but they want that, but they don't want to change for it. So, you know, it's kind of weird. But
so the first point that we're going to talk about is decreases in housing prices, and that is something that is very noticeable. And it wasn't like too many years ago that it wasn't that high. Prices on rent or buying property here, it wasn't that high. If that started changing, probably, well, you can see it very, very noticeable. Literally, it was after COVID, but it had been changing, and now it's very, very different than what it was. Like to rent it in any area, it is crazy.
I agree. The housing prices have increased, and that's the first thing that most people notice when, you know, they're looking to, you know, move somewhere. They're looking at what the accommodations of the place and how much it's going to cost them. And it's still, in some areas, you still can get a great deal on housing, but in the areas that you would probably want to live in, you know, the housing prices have increased. And with that being said, it doesn't look as attractive to a retiree or someone who's on a fixed income to come here and live when the housing prices are starting to increase. And that's just a real thing here. Like she said, it wasn't, after COVID, I think it
got worse.
Yeah, it got worse, and prices went up everywhere after COVID. But here it kind of it seemed like it jumped. Jumped. It's like the pole jumped.
Like it was that the price wasn't like increased, okay, like 5% or whatever percent. It just increased. There is something that is way different than what it was.
And that's one of the reasons people are actually moving from the United States, because of the accommodations more than anything. It's the accommodations, the housing prices, the rent. I was looking in online, and they were saying at Tampa, Florida, that if you're a single person, you had to be making like $94,000 just to live comfortable. And if you were a family of 4, you needed $204,000 to live comfortably. And the average American makes about $45,000, just the average American. So if you got 2 of them together, y'all right at 90. I mean, this basically what it's saying is that it's damn near impossible to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially if you live by yourself, like to be single and live, you have to be living with somebody, or your wife, husband, or your friend, or somebody, just to live. So going to the same path is currently using dollars in a lot of places, and that is renting, selling real estate, and that is just, it is more like tourist areas and middle and high class area here. All the prices that you see online, they usually in US dollars, no pesos anymore. Typical neighborhood, still being in pesos, but most area being in US dollars. Also, people selling cars. When you go to Corotos, or you go to Facebook Marketplace, or you go to Mercado Libre, you will see that they have the prices in US dollars, which is crazy because you are in the Dominican Republic. Right. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I can understand vehicle and cars because they say, I imported and then it coming from over there, we pay in US, whatever. If you want to use that excuse, but what about the housing market?
Right.
What have anything to do with the US?
Mm-hmm. So that was another one.
With US dollars, I say US.
Yeah, so that was another point, that they're starting to use the US dollar here in the country. And like say, you rent, we pay our rent in US dollars. When we had our restaurant back in 2015, we was paying our rent in US dollars. And even in tourist areas, shops and things like that, not that they require you pay with US dollars, but they accept them. So you're starting to see the US dollar starting to kind of like infiltrate the country.
Be normal to use here.
Right. So I don't know if that, we're just saying that. I don't know if that means anything or anything like that. But that's just what we see. We see that people are more asking for US dollars. Even when I go online, I was looking for a gym. In the gym, they say, it's $95 a month. And I'm like, $95. I mean, we're in Dominican Republic. What do you want $95 for? And things like that. So in some places that offer you certain services, even the trainers. I remember reaching out to a trainer and trying to get a cost on, or what it'll cost for them to train me for a month. And they said $300, $350, something like that. And I'm thinking, why you quoting me in dollars? Why you not quoting me in pesos? I mean, we're in Dominican Republic, and it's like, why are you asking for dollars when we're here in Dominican Republic? You should be asking for pesos. It's like everybody wants the dollar, and I understand why, because of the value of it. But it just seems kind of strange that you'll have a business, and what if just an ordinary person, a regular Dominican that's not earning US dollars, wants your service, and you're gonna quote them in US dollars. And it's not because I know people gonna say because they knew you was in. No, they didn't, because I was typing on I WhatsApped them. And matter of fact, I think you wrote the message. I think you wrote the message. So it wasn't that, it's just now people are wanting the US dollar. That's it.
So that is crazy, because like you say, if somebody is a regular Dominican just making his wages in pesos, so that means that you're gonna quote me whatever the exchange rate is at the moment, because I don't make any US money, I make pesos.
Right.
That is insane.
Yeah.
For regular business.
Right.
To do that. So we're gonna go with the next one, that is foreign investing. What do you think about that one?
That is very true. There's a lot of foreign investing here in Dominican Republic, and I think it relates to the U.S. Also because people don't realize there's a lot of foreign investing in the U.S. And people can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not. Of course, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but it's a lot of foreign investing in the U.S. that makes up our economy. So you see that here in Dominican Republic. You see foreign investments from countries like Russia, even China, Germany, where else? Canada.
Yeah, those are the biggest investors. Of course, the U.S. and a
And
lot
the
of
US, of
things that
course.
you see. Of course, building, construction, especially the road. That's what you see now. So you see so many tolls where you have to pay because foreign investors come and build it, and then they just be charging to make their money back. I guess for many years. That's what I hear. I don't know exactly how it goes, but there's a lot of foreign investors here.
Right. So as you know, with investing, when people invest, they don't always invest from afar. Some invest while they're living in the country. And when they're living in the country, they bring part of their culture, they bring some of their people, they build their families, then their families have families, and their families have families, and then at that point, the landscape starts to change. So that brings us to our next point that we thought about was, people migrating. There are more people migrating to the Dominican Republic. And this has been happening for a long time. It's been happening for a long time, but I think now we're going to start seeing it at a higher rate because in these Western countries like the US, like Canada, like the UK, and I've recently heard Australia, that it's getting way too expensive to live, and people are now looking to actually really get out. In the past, when people moved to other countries, it was mainly because they were retiring.
They were tired going back to their country, things like that.
Yeah, they were retiring, and they had a little money. They'd rather spend the rest of their days out on the beach. Nowadays, people are not moving because they're retiring. They're moving because, hey man, I need to
Work less and enjoy more.
work less, enjoy more, or just I can't stay above water. Living in these Western countries where inflation is killing them.
Yes, and then you see it, especially in tourist area where you see most of the, where you see more the immigrant living, but you see people here from, like you say, from the US, Canada, from Europe, and also what is Russians? There's a lot of Russians too also. Yes, like you say, one of the reasons is that now people are migrating for other reasons besides just retiring. They're looking for other ways to live better.
Right, right. Because I wouldn't have thought that I would be actually thinking or even actually have moved to another country at the age I am now. Like I say, you think about doing that when you're retiring, and now people, they're not even close to retirement and they're looking to get out. So the migration piece is definitely something that you can relate to. Is it the new America? Because we all know America is a melting pot now. There's so many different cultures, nationalities, ethnicities that's living in America. So it's a possibility that maybe DR turns into a new America. Oh, man. That's
Look like that making you. It look like it making you sad.
Oh man.
Oh God! And the last point that we have, it is pop culture.
Yep. The last and final one, which this one may be a little bit stretching it, but I don't think so. But I think that a lot of pop culture is moving to the Dominican Republic, especially American pop culture, with the proximity of America to Dominican Republic, and now everybody is on social media. You could see the influence of American pop culture here in Dominican Republic. That's just the truth.
I think with social media, you see a lot of, not just, I will say not just pop culture, but you will see a lot of influences for all the culture they come because people see things in online and they start seeing it, they start using things from other culture, adopting things from other culture.
Right. Yeah. And you can see it more in the youth. And so we already know, Whitney Houston said it, the children are the future. So you can see the pop culture here in the youth. So they're going to be the ones who are going to be, in the future, the representation of the country. They're going to be the people who are going to, I guess, be the trendsetters. So, and if you look at them now, you can just see the pop culture all in them. You go to some of these, you see the young guy. I look at them a lot of times when I'm walking in some of the neighborhoods, and I can see all the influence, the American influence, and from the way they dress, just the way they wear their hair, just everything. I could just tell that it's a lot of influence from America here. So those are some of the reasons that we think that will Dominican Republic be the new America. And I would say this, and to put it, kind of put I would say a spin, or look at it from a different angle, a little optimistic. If you plan to be here and you plan to invest, I think that the people who get in now and start investing, either buying land, buying an apartment, when it does, or if it does, we're not sure. These are just, hypothetical guesses. You'll be okay. You'll have your land, you'll have your apartment, you'll own it, or your house, you'll own it. But for those who coming in and trying to do it at the fourth quarter, I just think if it does go the way that, it seems like it may go, you're gonna get priced out. I think you're gonna get priced out.
I think at some point you will. If you are buying real estate here, it's going to be very, very expensive because what happens is nothing never goes down. It's always everything like, I'm gonna wait this, I'm gonna wait that, until you keep waiting, things keep going up and going up. So, yeah.
So if you think that DR is a place that you may be looking to retire, because we hear people say, oh man, and I'm gonna be there and I got 10 more years left. In 10 more years, man, this place gonna look totally different in 10 more years. I mean, you was gone for what, about 10, 14, what?
Yeah, between that, completely. Yeah. I mean, living over there in the US for about 14, 15.
And it
this place changed a lot. It changed a lot in different ways.
Right. And I think that even at that time, I think it was probably moving at a slower pace. Right now, the momentum is there.
It's moving faster. I think with all those investors, people thinking, I think they having a lot more people visiting and tourists. I think people having different mindset. I think they are changing in a faster way.
Right. So if you see something that you want to hop on, go ahead, hop on it. But don't hop on it without doing your due diligence. Always do your due diligence.
That's the first thing that you need to do.
But outside of doing your due diligence, if it's a great deal, jump on it, because at some point, I think it's going to be, you're going to get outpriced.
So guys, these are the points that make us think twice when that person made the comment. But this video is here for you. If you have an opinion or if you have something to add, you can leave a comment down below here. But right now, that's all we have. So thank you and bye.
Peace.